Hello, life changers, and welcome to the Transition Show. Today, we are talking about getting self ready for long term relationships. And today, our guest is Cheryl Guidry. So, let me tell you a little bit about Cheryl Guidry. She is a relationship coach, she's a woman's health expert, she's a certified CBD consultant, best-selling author, speaker, and founder of Safe Dating Over 50. So she does a lot of things with people and helping them with their relationship. Okay, so she began over 3 decades of working with women and changing lives. She is admired and appreciated for her commitment, intuitiveness, and her personality as a relationship coach. She is also recognized for her passion in helping single women over 50 to boldly embrace midlife. She helps them create an actionable plan with clear deliverables that align with their personal relationship vision to step back into their power after previous relationships challenges so that they can create more gratifying personal relationships. So that is a mouthful. So I'm going to let Cheryl continue introducing herself so we can get to know more about her. And then we are going to jump into this exciting topic for today. So Cheryl, go ahead. Tell us more about yourself, please.
Okay, so first of all, thanks for having me here, Pamela. It's great to be on this call with you. As you said, I am a relationship coach. I am a women's health expert. I've been a nurse practitioner for about 17 years. I've been in women's health all of my nursing career, so about 37 years now. And now I'm really focusing on single women over 50 because they are very intriguing. And as far as relationships are concerned, I found them to have a lot of difficulty because we're transitioning from midlife through midlife. And when you have the relationship issues, sometimes it can cause you to um, have more of a challenge as you're trying to get back into a new relationship or heal from a previous one. So that is where my focus is right now.
All right, so let's just go ahead and jump into this topic about getting self ready for long term relationships. And I love this topic, and I love what you said. You help them create an actionable plan for themselves. Because so many times I know I hear when single women or just single people are getting ready for those relationships, we like to focus on the other person. So tell me, why do you take a different approach to this, getting yourself ready for long-term relationship as looking at self first?
Because if you don't know who you are first, you're not going to know who you want to be with. You may think you know, but if you've come from a challenging relationship, especially a long term relationship, you don't even know who you are after that long of a relationship. I was married 21 years. I didn't know who the heck I was after 21 years. It looked nothing like what the person I thought I was before I had gotten married. So you have to first get through the uh, resentment and the anger or the loss of the relationship and focus back inward and just see where you're at. Find out where you're at and who you are at that point. And then move slowly down that path to trying to get into another relationship if that's what you choose. But it first has to begin with you. Has to begin with you. You need to
Okay,
know
I
what.
like
Mhm,
that
mhm,
concept
mhm.
of self because in the framework I created, My Greatest Me. Um, it's a framework to help people navigate transition, and the first thing you look at is self. Yes, and like you said, yes, they're going through this change, but first it starts with self. And what do you want? And I also love that you brought in, you got to know yourself, so that authentic self, because I feel that sometimes we think that authentic self is going to stay the same. I'm like, but it doesn't. It changes because you're exposed. I think you're exposed to different things. You go through different challenges. What you like may change. How you view things may change. So it's a constant self-awareness, that a constant getting to know self.
Mm-hmm.
So with your clients, when you start out, you're getting them to create this actionable plan with clear deliverables. You're getting them to look at self, to get to know who self is. Share with us, what are some exercises that you do with your clients for them to really get to know self and what self is looking for in these long-term relationships?
Well, I do what we call a dating by design readiness assessment. And what that does, it lets me know where they are at that point. When they connect with me to consider coaching with me, where are they right now? And so the questions is over 72 questions, but it tells me where their challenges are. It tells me where their strengths are. It tells me what their focus is right now. It tells me how soon they want to get there. So it gives me a lot of detailed information about that person so that I can make a plan for them that's individualized to them. So no two people have the same plan.
Mhm.
So they have a plan that's created just for them through that assessment.
Okay, 72 questions. Yes, that's going to help them reflect
Hmm.
and see where they're at with all those questions. Oh, that is great to hear. And I want to clarify some things. We're talking about getting self ready for long-term relationships. And sometimes when we think of long-term relationships, we only think of the romantic one. What about if people are just trying to enhance their relationship, whatever it is? Maybe it's their relationship with their coworkers, maybe it's their relationship with their family, their
Hmm.
friends, or even um, with their children. So when you talk about long-term relationships, do you only help them when it comes to dating and romantic, or do you also help them with other relationships?
Well, a big part of relationships in general is communication. And
Mhm.
so a lot of the things that we go over uh, when we're helping them to find self again are all things that are pieces of a puzzle of communicating with anyone, be it in your business life, be it in your family life, be it in your personal life. There are techniques that you're going to use for any type of relationship. So, and I always say that even though you're going through, you're trying to heal a relationship like a personal relationship, that personal relationship and all the baggage that you have that came from that does affect those around you. It
Mhm.
affects your people in the workplace, it affects your family, and you may not even notice it. You know, I didn't even notice it uh, when I was going through. But when I was coming out of it and people felt more comfortable, they said, "Oh my goodness, you're glowing now. Yeah, you were kind of angry, you know." So um, it affects all aspects of your life. So everything that we use will help them with all their relationships, not just their romantic relationships.
Oh, I love it. I love it that you said that, because I know as a business professor, I teach my students that when you talk about relationships, it's any connection that you have. Is not just those romantic ones, and everything is connected because you are a part of all of those. So I'm glad to hear that coaches out there are not only focused on that dating, but this is a part of you. And in order to have a nice, a successful long-term relationship, it is going to spill over because you were part of all this. So it's all about an interconnection. So I love hearing about that.
Yes, it's all interconnected, just like you said. Yes, it is.
Yes, okay, so we talked about creating an action plan with clear deliverables. I want to talk about deliverables. So tell me, what are some deliverables you give your clients? Is it like go on the first date and have this conversation, or maybe it is treat yourself, or start writing a story about yourself? What are some of those deliverables that you give them to do?
Okay, so since we're still, the dating part comes, like I said, that's way down the line, even if that's what they want. First, we need to find out what is your life vision?
Mhm.
What is it that you want to do with your life now? What do you envision your life looking like now? You're out of this relationship and you're ready to move forward. What does that look like for you? So we have to answer those questions. What does the next relationship look like for you? We have to answer those questions. What do you want in that relationship? What don't you want? What are your negotiables? What are your non-negotiables? Do you want to travel? You might have been in a relationship where your partner didn't like to travel and you love to travel. So that might be on your list. So we do a relationship and life vision statement, and we combine all that together, find out what it is that you actually are wanting in your life. Because if you don't know what you want and then you're out there seeking, you might go along with someone else's life plan that does not connect with your own. So if you already know where it is that you want to go, having that life vision and that relationship vision already devised to where you can have it there and you have it in your mind, then you're going to pick and you're going to attract someone that you want in your life, because positive
Yeah.
attracts positive. And
As they say, the law of attraction.
yes,
That's what they
yes,
say. Okay. Oh,
yes.
I love when you say the vision plan for your life.
Mhm.
Um, because I know I'm in a lot of groups with single women, and some of them are married, some are single, and they like to travel. We all like to travel.
Mhm.
And a lot of them are saying, oh, my spouse or my boyfriend doesn't like to travel.
Mhm.
So, and what the problem is. So I love that you're putting the focus on them. It's like, what do you want out of life? And not leaving it up to chance of, oh, you're just going to meet someone and you're just going to, accept his life vision for your own.
Right, right. It's
And
living
so,
life more intentional.
yes, and I love that, because if you have a vision, that's who you're seeking, that's who you're going to attract. And
Mhm.
so to both have that same common life vision and be able to work together and understand why this life vision is there, I think that is like awesome that coaches, dating coaches, relationship coaches are talking about that, because I know as a single female, sometimes I feel like when I'm dating, society has told me, oh, I can't have my own vision. It's whatever, the man wants. It has to become my own. And then I see people do that and they're not happy. It's like, no, but I've worked hard to get this life.
Mhm.
I'm not just giving it up because it's a part of me. It's who I am.
Yes, yes.
It's like, and I don't think we have to have the same. It can be similar. I don't think it has to be the same,
Mhm.
but I can't just let what I want go. So I love that as a coach, you are getting people focused on, what do you want? What do you need in this relationship?
Right. And a lot of
And
times, women are we say what we want, but there's those things that are negotiable.
mhm,
And so when you know what you want, and you know what you don't want, it's easier for you. Let's say you find a partner that has just all the things that you need in a relationship, but there may be some things that you have to negotiate on. Relationships are all about compromise too, but you're able to compromise on those things that you feel okay, that you don't have to have the perfect relationship. So yeah, it's all about you knowing knowing what you want and going for it, and not
I,
settling. A lot of women think they have to settle. You don't have to settle.
I love
You
it.
compromise.
I love it. I think I just love that you start off with getting the person to look at self and where self is at, what self needs to work on, what self wants, what self needs in a relationship to feel for it to be successful. So I love this concept because I know I teach my business students when we talk about management leadership, it starts with self.
Mhm, mhm,
If you are not, if you don't know self, if
mhm,
you do not know how self reacts in this relationship, what self likes, what self doesn't like, what are your triggers,
mhm,
then, it's going to be a problem because you're going to be all over the place and you're never going to like where you're at because you're not going to feel like you're being your authentic self.
mhm.
And so when I hear about other coaches, mentors, other individuals talking about self, I I love it because I truly feel some of the problems that we have in the world, if everyone would just look at self and ask self, what part do I play in this? What part do I play in the problem? What part am I going to play in the solution? And really
Exactly.
look at self. But not only that, but also realize that someone else can be a part of the situation and their point of view is different. And the only way y'all are going to understand is to sit down and communicate.
Yes.
Communicate without judgment,
Mhm.
communicate without having that they're attacking me, but communicate in a way of learning the other perspective,
Exactly.
getting to know the other person. So I feel like what you have told me, that's the approach that you take too, is also with that communication, communicating without the judgment. So if you are on a date or you're meeting someone and you're getting to know them,
Mhm.
you know, this is what you want, say it in a way that's not like hateful or you feel like you're better than someone, but just say
Right.
it in a this is who I am. This is what I'm looking for.
Mhm,
This is
mhm.
in order to be at my best self.
Right. Right.
And so
Right.
I feel like when I'm talking to you, that is what you do with your clients.
That
Am
is.
I on point?
Yes, you're exactly on point. Exactly on point. Because uh, another piece of that puzzle is when you're looking at self, self is not perfect, and
Mhm.
so um, you may have some things that you need to fix in self before you move forward into another relationship. There's two parts of relationship, and as you're doing your self evaluation, you're going to find the things that uh, you were a part of and the things that he was a part of that caused the relationship possibly to fall apart, and you are responsible for your part. And so there may be some things, some self-sabotaging things in your behavior that you're doing to push people away. And so those are some things that you would have to work on. If you have some resentment or you have some triggers. I loved when you talked about triggers earlier. We don't always realize that we have triggers from a previous relationship challenge. that will pop up in the ideal situation, and you just have no clue that, the person may say something, and all of a sudden it's like it turns on that trigger, and it's like, where did that come from? Okay, that was from the past relationship, and that person may not even know why you reacted the way that you reacted, but you are going back to that last relationship. And so that's another piece of it, not only finding out what you want and need, but working on those weak areas that you need to improve on so that you can better communicate with a new partner and not bring baggage from that last relationship into the new one.
Yeah, that self-reflection,
That's it.
yes, that self-reflection can be tough at times because I know I've been going through that and be like, oh, where'd that come from? I'll be like, that was still there.
Did I just say that?
Anyway, I'll be like, oh man, I'm gonna have to deal with that now. So yes, and I know if people don't know, I live in China. I've been here for 4.5 years, and one thing that I have said about living abroad, being an expat, is it does forces you um, to get to know self.
Mm-hmm.
And what self likes, because you are in a foreign land, you're away from everyone. It's you.
Mm-hmm.
It's you. And so then you see things that you're doing, and I know I have to be like, okay, do I like that? Where did that come from? Is it something I need to change? How is that affecting people around me?
Mm-hmm.
And so I know part of living abroad, my journey has been more introspect, getting to know me, getting to know who I am, what I like, and starting to like who I am, and what I have done in the past and trying to do in the future. And I think sometimes that as individuals, we need to be honest and say, do we like ourselves?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's not about, I say it's not always about love, because sometimes love can be fickle, but if you like something, you're going to
Mm-hmm.
like something.
Mm-hmm.
And do you like yourself?
Yes, you
And
have to.
if you don't, then what are you going to do about it? Because you're the
Yeah.
only one that can change it.
Yes.
And living abroad, that is one thing that I had to realize. And that is one thing that I had to come to terms. It's like, no, maybe I thought I would be somewhere else, but I'm not in a bad spot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I do like where I'm at. Is it hard at times? Yes.
Yeah.
But I like it. And this is that moment. So I want to enjoy this moment. So I'm enjoying this conversation. I'm enjoying the process that you take your clients on to help, you know, to get them past those past previous relationship challenges, get them past those triggers, and get into that good space to embrace that next relationship.
Yeah.
So I'm loving it, that empowerment, that powering of individuals in self.
Yes. Yeah. One thing I always say is, uh, do what makes your heart sing.
Mhm.
There's something, everybody has something that just makes them feel so good. It just makes your heart sing. What is that thing? Early on when you're trying to heal, I want you to do that. Do that one thing that you may not have done in many years, but when you think about it, it just makes your heart sing. Do those things. The more of that you do, the more of the authentic you comes out. And you're like, oh my, where was she all these years? I lost her. And for me, it was traveling and dancing. I love to dance. And so
Mm,
I started taking dance classes. And even though I was doing the work in my journal,
mhm,
answering those questions, who I was, what I wanted, where I was going, that was making me happy and bringing out that happy person in me again that I felt I had lost along the way.
All right. Oh, I like that you mentioned journaling. So do you have your clients journal as well?
Oh yes. Oh
Mm.
yes. Yes. I was reading a couple of weeks ago. I was cleaning up and straightening up some journals, and I opened up one, and it happened to be the one that I had gone through my divorce with. And I got so tickled because it was like I could see where I was angry, I could see where I was sad, I could see when I was mad, and it was like, wow, this is a book right here, reading this, I got caught up in reading my own journals. So, and it's good to see where you were and see where you are when you get through that, work through that. So yes, I definitely encourage journaling, because you can get those feelings out, um, on paper. You need to have a good friend that you feel you can be your confidant, or a counselor. But you need to have a space where you can just put it all out on paper, and nobody's judging what you say. You're saying it's coming right from your heart out, and the more you get it out, the more you heal. So,
Mm. Oh, I love that because in my recent book, when I'm taking them through the cycles of My Greatest Me, one part in there is where you begin to write your me story, meaning you're beginning to write your story of navigating this transition. So, and I feel like too many times so, we're taking on somebody else's story.
mhm.
We're creating, yes, it's my story, but we are creating it in a way to please someone else. And it's not truly your story. So
Mhm.
I do love that idea of journaling, getting out, being like in that safe space where you can
Yes,
just say anything and no one is going to say anything or look at you crazy. It is just you, this writing utensil, and this paper. And
that's
when
it.
you write it there, it is going to stay there. So I love that as well. So we are wrapping up. So Cheryl, let everyone know if they are looking for your services, how can they get in contact with you?
Okay, well, I would love to connect with you. They can reach me at, Cheryl at safedatingover50.com if you want to email me, or you can go to www.safedatingover50.com and contact me there. There's a place for you to get on my calendar, and I give a free assessment, uh, and we evaluate it, and then you can decide if you think that we would be a good match to work together.
All right, and this information will also be in the comments, so you can see it there as well. So in closing, Cheryl, is there anything else you would like to share, being a relationship coach, a women's health expert, best-selling author, certified CBD consultant? Is there anything else that you would like to share with us regarding getting self-ready for long-term relationships?
I just say, I always say, don't let your past define your future. Be defined by how you rise up past that difficult time in your life. Because life is short, and we're not promised tomorrow. So don't spend too much time um, on the past. Learn how to move forward. And if you're stuck and you're the same place you were last year, you need to get some help and move forward so you can get to that life that you envision. And again, do what makes your heart sing, you know, um, and live your life to the fullest.
Oh, I love that. Do what makes your heart sing. Oh, I love that. I may have to do that. But I'm ready to don't worry. All right, Cheryl Guidry, thank you for joining us today on the Transition Puzzle as we talked about getting self ready for long-term relationship. I enjoyed all the information you shared. I'm loving the information that you are sharing with your client. It's just getting everyone that works with you to first focus on self and how self can improve in order to make your relationships better. So I love that concept that you are sharing with the world. So
Thank you.
again, thank you for being our guest here on the Transition Puzzle. So until next time, just know I am my greatest me, becoming, being, sustaining. Sajin, bye.